It's bourbonblog.com live for our Cigar Saturday. Today, we are thrilled to have with us actor, producer, and artist Federico Castelluccio. You may remember him from The Sopranos. He played the part of Furio, one of my favorite shows ever, and also Matty Rock joining us from Sandra's. Good afternoon, gentlemen. How's it going?
All right. Matty, good to see you, brother.
Good to see you.
Nice to meet you, Tom.
Good to meet you as well.
We're enjoying. I'm very jealous that I'm not having a stick with you guys, but I'm in my home and I don't smoke inside. So, but I am having some monkey shoulder.
We like the monkey shoulder. That's some good scotch there. My wife is searching for my bottle if we can find it. Otherwise, for the moment, I'm going to be sipping on it today. So
I love the little raised sculpture of the monkeys on here, the three monkeys.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. Actually, a friend of ours, a mutual friend, Glenn DiGirolamo, I gave him one of these things for his birthday, and I think he really likes it too. It's a young whiskey. You know what I mean? It's not aged. A lot of people like it very aged, but it's actually pretty good. You can taste the honey and citrus in it as well.
Yeah, no, I think it's a beautiful whiskey. Are you usually more of a Scotch fan? Do you just dabble in all types of whiskey? What do you typically like?
Yeah, I just dabble, man. I just whatever tastes right for me. Whatever smells right. It's got a nice nose. Yeah. So I can smell something from quite a distance with this nose.
You can sniff. Well, in Sopranos, you used to have to sniff some people out that you had to take care of, didn't you?
Yeah. Quite a few, actually.
Quite a few.
But they deserved it. What are you going to do?
That's right. You didn't ever feel bad. They all deserved it, right?
It's a Jersey thing. You deserved
it. Exactly right. Yeah, when I did that basically was my first time on the set of The Sopranos. It was a scene where Furio goes into a brothel and he has to kind of retrieve some money for Tony, and people love that scene because it's a real beat down. You know what I mean? And they put it up there with some of the the top beatdown scenes in film and television, which I'm humbled by. But that's a real Patterson beating that I gave that guy. I grew up in Patterson, New Jersey, so it's got that kind of flavor to it.
So really, this whether it was the beatdowns, whatever scene it was that you did, you had some experience that you had, whether you'd experienced it personally, you had been a part of this, you had seen this, you drew from real life in many ways.
Oh yeah, growing up in Patterson was a rough town to grow up in. It was a rough city. You would have to get in fights every other week. I mean, it's like somebody came into your neighborhood, you didn't see me, they looked at you the wrong way, all of a sudden you're on the floor with these guys just pounding away. There's an interesting story that happened when I went to shoot Sopranos in Italy. We were in a marketplace. I was with the director, Tim Van Patten. I think Jim was with it, James Gandolfini, and David Chase was the creator of the show. And what happened was his wallet was stolen while we were in that mix of people, and we had a guide with us, this Neapolitan guy who just was with the film crew. And he went over to one of the guys where it happened, and they had their goods on the floor, they were selling stuff. He said, and he whispered in his ear, "This is my uncle is so and so." And he goes, "If you don't tell me who this guy is, he's gonna pay you a visit." So, he told him the basic direction of where this guy was, and we located him. And I don't know what came over me, man, but I just started pounding on this guy, just started beating him up, being this guy. And I remember seeing the expression of David Chase and Tim Van Patten and Gandolfini, and they were like, "What the fuck is he doing?" I mean, like, and in my mind, I'm saying,
it just felt right.
All right, I think yeah, there it is. All right, excellent. So no, that's great.
Yeah.
And so again, the area you grew up in New Jersey is said Patterson?
Patterson, New Jersey. Yeah. So I guess maybe all of a sudden those memories from Patterson just came back to me in those days.
It's a rough town, Tom. You remember the place we talk about, the old hot dog place, Johnny and Hangie. So it was originally in Patterson. So the joke was that when you went to Johnny and Hangie's, that was like the safe zone. So the cops and the criminals were eating on each side of the thing, just kind of staring at each other. Like in Patterson, it's not a church, it's Johnny and Hangie's. So the cops would be staring over, having hot dogs and hamburgers, just looking, the criminals looking. But nobody ever got busted there. It's like, all right, this is hallowed ground and shit. You're not allowed to do this here. I'm like, when you go outside, you could go back to cops and robbers. But here in Patterson and Johnny and Hangie's, you kind of gotta behave a little bit, and there'll be none of that. It's just hot dogs and hamburgers here.
That's true. That's very true, man. That is. But yeah, so it was an interesting kind of ride being on The Sopranos, in many different ways.
Yeah, and the fact that it still has so many fans, so many people of new generations even watching it. I mean, that's it's
absolutely,
one of the
absolutely.
How does that feel? I mean, coming out of this many years later, and now young people watching this and still remembering this.
It's really incredible, Tom. I mean, we recently in 2019, I think it was in November, I believe it was. We, myself and three other partners, did something called we created something called Sopranos Con, which was a convention based on the show The Sopranos, and we it was incredibly successful. What happened was a friend of mine called me. He was a guy that owns some restaurants, and he's sort of an entrepreneurial kind of guy. His name's Michael Mata, and he is from Rhode Island. And I've done some appearances with him in the past, so we always kept in touch. And he calls me up one day and he goes, "Hey man, I just got a call from these guys. They're like influencers, and they this one guy does memes, and they saw that we had an appearance, and they asked me if I knew you, and they didn't believe that I knew you. So can you get on a call with these guys?" And so it turns out that they had this unbelievable idea, this Sopranos Con. And so I decided, I said, "Listen, if you don't do this, somebody else is." And so it's the 20th anniversary of The Sopranos, and we were expecting 4,500 people to show up, and well, I think something like 15,000 showed up. I mean, wow. We actually built sets. Joe Fama, who is one of our original partners, he built this, you would come in there and you would see almost like an Italian feast kind of situation. It was at the Meadowlands, appropriately. And he had like different sets. He built the Melfi set where you could sit down. I mean, down to every detail, even the sculptures that were on the window and everything. Then there was a maze that he did, sort of like with the when they get lost in the woods, the Pine Barrens episode. All of these really cool things. Then we had Alabama 3, who was the original band that sang the opening theme song. Woke up this morning, got myself a gun. These guys, we flew them in from London. They performed. It was fucking amazing, man. Then we had Dominic Canese. Dominic Canese, played Uncle Junior. He is a wonderful singer and a guitar player. And he went up there on the stage that night. And I mean, people were in tears. That guy is such a beautiful man. He sang so beautifully, and Neapolitan songs and American folk songs and stuff. It was just a really, really, really cool event. So we were scheduled to, in 2020, we were scheduled to to do 2 events at Harrah's. One was in Atlantic City, and then the other one was in Vegas. And so, you know, everything was set. We were expanding it to not only the Sopranos Con, but we were also doing Mob Movie Con, which encompasses all the mob movies and actors from those movies and directors and. Okay, so we were kicking off with Al Pacino. Basically, was kicking off the Friday night, and he was doing a Q&A event. He had a moderator. He usually does this kind of thing. He has a moderator, and then, you know, I guess meets a certain amount of people at the end. But when COVID hit, we were all shut down. I mean, Harrah's said, you know, we were going to try to do it, but, you know, it's just, you know, the government just shut us down. So what we did was Mike Mata came up with an idea of doing a virtual con. That's what actually we call it, virtual con. And it's basically 24/7, a convention that anybody all year round can reach out and get shout outs from their favorite actors, and whether it be in the mob movies, Sopranos, other films, boxing, you know what I mean? So we have Boxing Con as well, Walker Stalker. So all of these really cool events are going to be sold in an app. We've created an app called Virtual Con. And so this is going to be launched in about 45 days or less. So it's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah. So again, Virtual Con, I think I see the right, is it the virtualcon.online? Is that the right website for the Virtual Con that I'm seeing, Federico?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. I'm going to stick it up there.
Not fully, I mean, yep. Yeah, we've been working with a company called Augusta, and they've been developing our app. And so far, I mean, it's really amazing what we can do with that thing. You know, we can, you know, people can reach out. They can get a one-on-one with one of their favorite actors. Nice. You know, it's similar to Cameo, but we've got a lot more to offer.
Yeah, I've seen the Cameo out there with that gives people kind of that shout out or that birthday greeting. With Virtual Con.
Yes.
It's really going to become something that because a lot of the cons, a lot of those festivals and gatherings can't happen, it's going to be you all actually having a one-on-one conversation with fans then.
I mean, how cool is that?
That's right. We're also, we're doing shout outs. We're doing all kinds of stuff. We'll have merch, all kinds of merch, that'll be on the app. Cigars. That's right. We're working. I don't know if it's too early to say, but we're working with a really top-notch cigar company that is like world renowned. And we're actually going to be going down to Nicaragua, first Miami and then Nicaragua, and developing a very specific cigar with a very, very famous name attached to it.
Wow.
So this is all very cool stuff that's going to be coming out.
That's exciting, and we'll definitely follow the story with you, Federico, and bring people more information on Virtual Con as it happens. You think it'll be later this spring we'll be seeing it, or when will we see it? Yeah.
It's going to be coming out. We should be launching in about 45 days. We also have a private airline that we're working with that's going to be doing shuttles back and forth down to Miami with celebrities. This is like all uncharted territory. No pun intended. But so it's going to be very, very cool, man. Maybe you guys can join at one point.
I'd love that.
It'll be awesome. And I remember hearing from Glenn when they did the con in the Meadowlands. You couldn't even find parking spots.
That's right.
I was on the road somewhere, and Glenn's like, "I can't even find a parking spot. Holy crap! all the handicap spots, everything's done." So poor Glenn was driving around looking for a spot, and there's a lot of parking spots there, man, because you have everything there. MetLife Stadium is there, the hotel and everything else. So for those lots to get jammed,
that's right. Yeah.
It's insane, man.
Yeah. We booked like 3 or 4 hotels solid that weekend, man. You know. So, hey, Tommy, tell me about you, man.
So I am I'm a whiskey educator and journalist. So I do whiskey education and journalism, and I started bourbonblog.com about 15 years ago. At the point in time, it was really the first website ever on bourbon. And almost the past year, Matty and I have done this show every Saturday, interviewing really cool people just like yourself on Cigar Saturday. And so many great people have come back. So many of you all watch it every single week, and many of you are watching it now. And if you are watching it now for the first time, make sure you subscribe to our Twitter, to our YouTube, to our Facebook, or to that link right there. Always fun interviews like Federico, and this is one we've really been excited about for quite a while. And
thank you, man. So, what do you think of Whistle Pig? I mean, what do you think of that?
Actually, coincidentally, I'm having the inside of the cocktail that we just made here. I'm having some Whistle Pig. This is some Whistle Pig.
Oh, nice.
Piggyback, and it's the 6-year-old. It's the piggyback with.
Man, salute. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's Federico's way of letting you know the whole Jersey thing. He's watching you right now. He knows what you're doing.
He already knew what I was drinking, didn't he?
It's not coincidence. I'm just saying. It's not coincidence.
If you hear a knock at the door.
That Italian telepathy thing, you know. Put some more stuff.
But I'm having a Boulevardier, of course, a little bit of the Campari. Actually, we use a little aperitif select in this one from Italy, and a little Carpano Antico vermouth.
Nice, man.
So we're doing a.
Is that like a Negroni or no?
It's like a Negroni, but with whiskey.
With whiskey, okay. I got to try that.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. Usually we use a little higher on the whiskey level. With Negronis, usually you do the gin, the Campari, the sweet vermouth. Equal parts, usually for the Boulevardiers, we do a little higher content of the whiskey. But I am having Whistle Pig.
Very cool, very cool. You know,
I'll live vicariously through you guys. I have my Hint cherry water. Fine vintage, if you will.
Gotta let some nice cherries there.
Yeah,
that's cool. Salute. Interestingly enough, I just did a film in Reading, Pennsylvania with Peter Green. It's called The Mick and the Trick. It's like a dark comedy kind of thing. And, I was reading the script, and they had this, like, every once in a while you would see a billboard or something. It was always this one thing called Don Viejo de Caldas or something like that. It's a rum, Ron Viejo de Caldas or something. It's actually right here. Ron Viejo de Caldas. It's a rum, and they had it throughout this whole thing. So there was one scene where the guy, I meet this Cuban mob guy, and he goes and he's walking over to me and he hands me a thing, and I just ad-libbed. Oh, let me guess, Ron Viejo de Caldas. And the guy just broke character, just started cracking up. And, but it's interesting how they're incorporating some of these things as sort of a cross promotion type of thing,
Yeah, that is. Yeah, it is.
Are you familiar with that? Are you familiar with this thing?
Let me see the bottle. I think yes, I believe I have seen it. I don't know if I've had it, but how do you like it?
It's not bad. It's not bad. I don't want to say anything negative, but it's not bad. Let's put it that way. It's not as strong as I thought it would be, but it's got a nice flavor. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Any favorite cocktails or sippers that the cast of Sopranos had off camera, maybe after a shoot or at parties? Was there any favorites back then? Yeah, I think at the time the Tito's wasn't there at the time. I don't think, but we would drink some. What was it? Some of the guys liked wine. The Cabernets. But as far as
some people like martinis, I remember.
Right.
Yeah, so it was mainly Grey Goose at the time that that we were drinking.
Right.
If we went out to have a little after working. One of the things with Sopranos was that it was really a tight knit group. I mean, we really felt sort of a familial kind of feel. We worked together for 16, 18 hours some days. Instead of going home, we're like, hey, you want to get a drink? Let's go to Mike's place. Michael and Prioli had a small joint down, I believe it was on 6th Avenue or something like 7th Avenue. And it was called Ciel Rouge. It was a tiny little place, all red inside and everything, curtains. And we just go there and just chill out and have a couple of drinks, and wind down, after the day.
Very nice, very nice. But the bars.
Hey, Matty, shut up, man. I've had enough of you. All right.
Oh, I've been too noisy today.
You're talking too much.
I'm sitting and learning. I'm just like, yeah. When I get to be the studious one, right? I need to grow my beard longer. Yes. Be the wise one. Since we're talking rum, and I know we've all spoken about this. When everyone's in Nicaragua, we got to go do the Flor de Caña. So that's one of the things we do when we go down there. We do a tour of the Flor de Caña factory, and like I'm the soccer mom in that one because literally you could light everyone's piss on fire by the time we come out of there after Flor de Caña time. So it gets
and you know what?
I think you got.
No, bro, I have to thank you. I know you recently told me you found 6 of the cigars that I've been looking for a long time. And they're Ora Vivo by Armand Asante, one of my dear friends. And unfortunately, smaller companies like that just got pushed out, with the taxes and everything. I think that they just really hammered them with the taxes. And I had a couple of people that had like really nice cigars. I think that his cigar was like a 93 rating or something.
Yeah, and for an actor, that's totally so a lot of actors that put out sticks.
Absolutely.
But his had that silkiness to it. It was bold, but still
nice.
Smooth.
Nice.
It was silky. And
can we smoke them tomorrow?
No, don't have them yet. They're my buddy.
Oh, they didn't come yet.
I had to do a little trade action. Tomorrow, I had to do a little bit of trade action. He's like, what do you got? I'm like, see the goods first, huh? And he's like, no. I'm like, come on. I want to see pictures that this is real. I like hostage stuff. I'm like, forget about it. You got to show me. He's like, well, you got those Liga A's? I'm like, maybe I do. Maybe I don't. What are you going to say? So, you got to kind of put it in the picture like you're holding them hostage. You're like, I got these. If you want them, I'll see you at the drop. It's like, all right. So we did our little bit of trade action because you can't find them anymore because they were the original member Arsadamante. They put out those sticks.
This was. I still have the box. Look.
Sanj might have some. Let's see if he comes up. Let's see if he comes up with the box.
I know I have it somewhere, but
nice.
Okay. Yep.
Who has it?
Sanj probably does too, because not at the shop. Sanj has everything. I think he knows what Hoffa is too, but he's not talking about it.
Well, I think
I've seen some shit, man. Sanj. So when you do Sanj's and when all this nonsense, Federico, you got to come here one day. So he has the basement. Let me get Sanj in here in this picture with
I
me
will.
too. So down in the basement, what I tell you, it's a museum. Now I thought I have a lot of sticks. I have between 18 and 20,000 sticks in my collection. I'm like, nobody has more sticks than me. Then you have Sanj. To Sanj, that's just like his sock drawer. I'm like, wait, he has stuff. He has stuff pre-embargo, stuff that you can't find. He has limited edition stuff. And then Mr. Sanj had the propensity that if he liked something a lot, he'd buy all of it. So everyone's like, hey, I'm looking for this stick. I can't find it. Sanj, don't worry about it. I bought them all. It's like, what do you mean you bought them all? It's like, I said I bought them all. And then you go look and goddamn, he bought them all.
Oh.
Sneaky deaky like that.
He got them all.
Literally.
I think
very cool, man.
I actually just went there.
I was with.
So when they made the original Sopranos, we had actually a whole bunch of them, and actually the CAO company, the original CAO before Janelle took over, I made that company. We were one of their largest distributors. So when the Sopranos first came out, the red boxes, I had hundreds of them.
Yes.
And we had all of them, the bats and the limited edition sets and all. So CAO actually started here. So I started it, that company, and I put them on the map.
Oh, Ricky.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you hear the name Ricky Rodriguez, who did the,
I still have some of those.
So he did the blends, and it was those black boxes with the little red
Ricky came
Yes.
afterwards. Ricky came afterwards. But
so we might have to check out Sanjay.
Yes, I remember those.
Not listening. We got to check out Sanjay.
We recently.
Absolutely. What's mine is yours.
All right, cool, man. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. We worked closely with when we did Sopranos. We also did the Sopranos Con cigar, and we worked with Jimenez in Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know those guys. They're brothers. One of them, Peter, unfortunately passed away.
Yes. I know them very well. I know them very well.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
The mother has been. She's been like making cigars since she's 16 years old in Cuba.
Right.
Yeah, Sanjay's had 30 years plus around all these people. So it's funny. You go, Sanjay, like, yeah, of course. A lot of people here in the local area, when they first came out, Sanjay was always the first shop to carry him, because Sanjay's always believed in, you know what? There's so many boutique blends that don't get to see the light of day. It's no different than with your stuff, Tom, with liquors and bourbons. You might not have the backing or of a general or somebody like that. So Sanjay's always been on the side of bringing these boutique style cigars that really are incredible and pack flavor and have industry knowledge, which some people just don't know. And Sanjay's background, since Sanjay's also a blender as well, he could really get in there with those people and really appreciate some of those boutique blends that you put together. And so you come in, and like I said, I've been down to Esteli X amount of times, probably 15, 16 times. And I can promise you, I've made about 30 blends, all of which suck terribly. It's like, who would you give this to? I'm like, not even a dog. So it's like, I'll leave it to the experts. Hey guys, what do you think about this? And they just like, que feo, Mateo, que feo. Merda. I'm like, oh, thanks. They didn't hide it. They're like, yeah, it's really shit. I'm like, yeah, thanks. I appreciate you. So I've learned my lesson with blending cigars. I leave it to the experts.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool.
And if you're just joining us, it's Federico Castelluccio on Bourbon Blog Live. If you have any questions for Federico, which I see some coming in, ask them down below. Take a moment to like, share, and retweet this. And if you do if you do two of those, like it and share it, we're going to put you in the drawing for that wonderful Janus Coffee Roasters coffee that's been finished in bourbon barrels. And we're going to have some exciting news soon. Shad and I are about our Bourbon Blog blend coming.
But feel special because I talked to Shad already, so I know your secrets.
Yes, we have.
I know your secrets. You want me to keep quiet, huh? I don't know.
He's
by my silence.
He's doing his mafia character. What are the lines people want to hear you say usually, Federico? Are there any lines that you
mean from the Sopranos, from Furio?
Sopranos, yeah.
I have a lot of the line.
Well, we broke up a bit.
We broke up
one of them.
Just okay. Say that. Say that.
The line is
we kind of broke up.
Okay. The line that a lot of people want me to say is, for the scene that I had with Kenny, and you get that, or did it go ahead?
I think. Did you get it, Matty? We might have a.
It's actually like the movies. Every time you say it, that's when it breaks up. Like the line they really want me to say is, I like that. I like how this is turning into a movie on its own. The line you want to hear is.
We freeze up again.
Please.
Did you get that or no? Because it froze up on my end.
Yep, give it a shot again.
Did you?
I didn't hear it.
Okay, so a lot of sometimes I get golfers that come up to me and they say, give me that line. So the line is "stupid the fucking game."
Right, the golf. Yeah.
Yeah, stupid the fucking game. Anyway, so that one, or give me $1,000.
Give me 1,000. Yeah.
there's a bunch of funny lines that Furio had, you know, that people still repeat back to me, actually.
I hate the North.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. I hate the North. Hey, whoa, what's going on? Then he talks about Columbus being from the North. Oh, man, the writing was just brilliant on that show, man.
Well, I want to also mention we do have some people asking about your art. In fact, Paula, I know sounds like a fan, says show your paintings. You do some great, you some amazing painting, and you have for many years. Tell us about that. I don't know if you have any close by. I can put them up on screen too, just to show people.
Yeah, I have a gallery that has my my paintings are in the gallery.
Yep.
And the paintings that I have here, I'd have to take the entire computer and show you because they're large paintings. What I have here in my home is a collection of paintings that I've been collecting over the years of 17th century masterworks. So, I mean, you could go on Federico Castelluccio paintings.com and you can see some paintings there. But I've been painting ever since I can remember. I've been drawing and painting since.
Yep, I'm going to put up a couple there. Some amazing paintings, and I'm going to put the website.
Visual Arts in New York City.
That's the website to go to. Where did you say some of your paintings are? Sorry, I think you may have cut out there, Federico.
It's Federico Castelluccio paintings.com -paintings.com. And you can see a variety of works. It's a website that's being built right now. So you can see, yeah, this is a commissioned painting of a bird. I got the inspiration from an old master work that I saw, and I created my own painting. And it's in a collection in Savannah, Georgia. This collector has about 6 or 7 of my works. Right.
Tell us the story about George Burns. I was reading that. That was really cool.
Oh, George Burns, yeah, man. When I was a kid, when I was in high school, I had a part-time job. I was like getting credit for high school. I had a part-time job doing illustrations in a newspaper, Patterson newspaper. It was called the Patterson News at the time. It's now defunct, but and so one day this reporter comes in, and I'm sort of in my cubicle in the corner with my art director there, and this reporter comes in and says she's going to be interviewing George Burns, for this film that he just did called Two of a Kind. I think that was the name. And sort of I was like, oh man, I love George Burns in my mind. So I turned around and I said to this reporter, I said, hey, wouldn't it be a great idea for young artists like me did a painting of George Burns, and we did a story and we presented it to him. And she's looking at me, she's like, who the hell is this kid? She walked away, and I'm like, I guess that wasn't a good idea. So I went back to my work. About an hour later, she comes back and says, I thought about what you said, and I made a few calls, and you have 1 week to create that painting because we're going to present it to George Burns on next Saturday. I'm like, holy, I just couldn't believe what she was saying. So I went, I bought a book. It was a biography on him. I read the entire thing overnight. Next day, I went to a place called Jerry Olinger's, and it was a place you want as far as pictures of any celebrity. I went there and I asked for some photos of George Burns. They brought out like 3 big folders, and I chose several shots in order to create sort of a montage of his, and created the painting, got it framed, went to have dinner with him, and he was 86 at the time, I believe.
Wow.
And he gave me an open invitation to his home in California, and also gave me one of his cigars.
And let me tell you, I love George Burns too, but this is why you smoke a Santi cigar and George Burns' cigar.
Now say that again, Matty. The cigar that Burns to do was what?
This is why Federico likes Ahmad Asante cigar, which was smooth. George Burns's not so much.
Right.
I've had it, and like I said, hold on. I see the screen is coming back. Come back.
Yeah, we were having a little bit of connections issues. Again, if you're a fan of Federico's or his art, check out that website right there and check out some of his art. I think Federico is reconnecting. We're so glad to have so many great people with us, and Federico himself is a fan of whiskey and cigars. And Matty, which cigar are you on there?
Today we're getting a little bit of the Dogma action. So you have Drew Estate Undercrown, but you have that soft Cuban box press. Great smoke, multi-dimensional, medium full body, a lot of nice natural spice to it.
Are we back?
And like I said, that press, you're back. We got you.
We're back. So I think the part we lost was he had invited you out. He was really impressed. He met you. He invited you out to California. What happened next? All right. Can you hear us, Federico? Are you able to hear us? Can you hear me, Matty?
I hear you.
Okay. Federico, can you hear us? Not sure if Federico.
I think the connection is fugazi. It's not working.
I feel like maybe the family is trying to cut it off. It could be. There he is.
Yeah, okay. No, we got a terrible connection.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
There you are.
Or as they'd say, forget about it, right?
Oh.
What did you what's the last thing you heard that I said?
Okay, the last thing I think
it.
I'm even impressing Matty here. The last thing.
What was the last thing?
Was George Burns invited you out to California, and he gave you one of his cigars. And I was just telling Tom, when you cut out on that, I'm like, that's why you really love Ahmad cigars, because they're smooth. George's not so much.
No, George had cheap cigars, man. That was a cheap one. I think I still have it in my basement somewhere. It's all like dilapidated, but but the very first cigar I ever had was in 2001. That was in '86, right? That was you guys there?
Yep, we're here.
Okay, I think I got you. 2001 cigar was. I was invited to. And I had known the mayor for a while, and the event was over. He offered me a cigar and a drink. I said, it was going to be just him, Admiral, and his fiancée.
All right, I think we're still having. Are you still having a little trouble, Matty?
Yeah. I think he's got a bad connection. Maybe his phones are tapped. I don't know.
His phones might be tapped.
Tapped.
Did you have a favorite episode of The Sopranos yourself, Matty? That
you know what? It was such a iconic series. It's hard to pick out shows.
Oh, I know.
Like I said, when it came out, I watched, like everybody, if you're from the tri-state area, you kind of watched it religiously. And we laugh, and I think the.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep, now we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. Can we see him though? There he is. Okay, we can see you.
Okay.
He's back.
Man, this Wi-Fi.
Somebody's using your Wi-Fi and downloading.
It's he needs to go take care of those people. He needs to. He's going to show up at their door in a moment. Say, quit using my Wi-Fi, and they're going to know he means it.
Yep, Federico's going to go next door and like, hey, Fraccia Bruta, stop stealing my Wi-Fi. Minga.
Give me $1,000.
Minga. Give me my Wi-Fi back.
I feel so bad. Federico, if you can hear us, maybe if you're able to reset the Wi-Fi or just log back in. I feel bad. Maybe if we can just have him try that, that would be good, because we have so many great people I know that are fans of The Sopranos and also fans of his artwork. I love that people have been asking us to try to. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this works. Is this better? Can you hear us?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, still no good.
Still not hearing you, Federico. I feel bad. I feel really bad, but
I'll wait you guys until I can.
it seems like though he's sipping on some great stuff. Though he's having the that monkey's rum that we like, and he would be having a cigar if he could. I really like this numero uno. This is a very nice cigar.
Hoya just keeps.
There we go.
Layups, man.
There we go. We're gonna try it one more time.
The other, they just they keep putting out quality stuff. I love it. You know, ever since all those new lines came in too, it's kind of funny because you have from their history of the 30-year history, you have the old school stuff like the regular 1970s and the dark Corojos. Then a couple of years back when they brought the newer blends in, like the red and the black, which you and I have smoked. The Quattro, we talk about barrel aged, so the Quattro Cinco was barrel aged, which was a great stick. And honestly, man, everything that they've been bringing to market, it's been home run after home run.
It's been so good.
And like I said, being into the same factory to make cigars, you know, that the old timers, again, you know, 50-year-old factory, something like the 1970s that they're smoking and enjoying, and the dark Corojos with that super earthiness, super full body and super rich, and then being able to bring the Hoya Reds and the Hoya Blacks, which are smooth and creamy profile. So
sorry about that, guys. I moved the router.
He moved the router. Okay, we can hear you a little better now.
There we go.
All right, so say something for us, Federico. We still have your website.
All right,
up there.
so can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me?
We can now. Okay.
Now you're back. We're gonna have to go take care of the cable guy.
We're gonna have
Federico.
to. Well, or is it because he's in government hiding now, and maybe the Wi-Fi is not so good underground? It could be.
What? I'm gonna have to go see the cable guy, pay him a visit. You know what I'm saying? Show him who the boss is.
I will give us another moment. We'll give it another try here, folks. But again, you're watching Bourbon Blog Live. No matter what, all these episodes, especially the best parts of them, go up on our podcast. So make sure, if you're not on our podcast, anchor.fm/Bourbon Blog. We want to have as many podcast subscribers as possible because we're putting up new ones several times a week just to make sure that, you may love watching us, but if you just want to listen, wherever you might be, listen to that podcast.
I don't know, man. My voice is bad enough. I'm like, I have a face for radio, but then you mix a shitty voice too. It's like, can I have the Braille version, please? Sorry.
But we're letting Federico do some magic, hopefully, with the internet. I'm enjoying the cigar. Matty, you're there at Saj. Is anything new Saj has in that he wants to talk about? Any new cigars, Saj, that you want to?
A lot of great stuff. So every January we entertain new companies. So there's a few great stuff. Castagli, unbelievable cigar. That's the cigar actually was rated #1 in international market. They're Doors of the Wind Lancero. Phenomenal smoke. Little pricey for American market, but super stuff. Then you have this El Septimo, which is Costa Rican tobacco. So somehow Costa Rican tobacco is coming back. A lot of people are using it. We were actually the original guys in '93. Were making Costa Rican cigars by a guy named Don Douglas. So Costa Rican tobacco is coming back.
Yep. All right. Now it's the Matt and San show. Everybody's got. So we're gonna juggle and stuff here in a couple of minutes.
We're bringing everybody back.
Start juggling.
There we go.
We were gonna juggle oranges and shit for you very badly.
Juggle
very
cigars.
poorly. No skill.
All right, Federico, can you hear us? I see him. I can see him, but I can't hear him. If you do reset your Wi-Fi, we might try it one more time, Federico.
Federico, if you can hear me, switch to your phone. Click the link on your phone if you can hear me. I'm going to shoot you a text.
Shoot him the text. That might help if you can go to your phone. Maybe that'll help. But again, take a chance to share this video, to like it. Also, one more link I want to make sure you all go. I know so many great bourbon fans are watching, and we'll remove Matty just for a moment. Go to bourbonblog.com/tastings and learn how you can be part of one of our virtual tastings, private tastings. We're doing those for companies, families, individuals, and we even do them weekly on Eventbrite. So make sure you go to that link, save that link. We can even do a whiskey and cigar experience for you virtually. So Federico is moving to his phone. And again, thanks to all the fans who are just hanging there watching us, asking some great questions. Matty, it's soon going to be a year that we've been doing this Cigar Saturday show. I mean, this is we're coming up to almost to a year.
We're coming up in a year, so we got it. We'll do an explosive show at Sanjay's. We'll do fireworks and stuff.
Absolutely.
So,
we'll have fireworks.
So well, sparklers at least. Wait, now it's legal, so we're gonna do fireworks. That's right.
We're gonna do fireworks.
So we'll do fireworks and stuff. We'll smack around patrons just to so Sanj reminds them who the boss is. Stuff like that. Typical Jersey fashion. And Tom, remind everybody too, for people who don't regularly log on, that while Tom is not able to be on the road now, obviously with the COVID, you can do virtual pairings, virtual tastings, and education. So if you have a crew of your guys and gals over, Tom can do that. I will defer to you, Tom.
That's right. Go to bourbonblog.com/tastings, whether it's for your company, your family, whoever it may be for. Go to that link and we can set you up with a virtual tasting that I'll host for you. Good news. I think we can see Federico a little better. Let's try it out. I see you better, Federico. Can you hear us?
There we go. Yeah, I am. I'm on my phone now because
now we got you.
This computer has Wi-Fi.
It's all right. So you were telling us a story about George Burns. You went to California to see him. I think that's where we had left off.
Yeah, actually, I didn't go to California. I went to New York. We presented the painting to him, and
right.
He introduced me to some people from PBS, and I think that the gentleman's name was Frank Goodman. He was head of PR for PBS, and I remember George Burns saying to him, he goes, let's take care of the kid, let's take care of the kid. And so basically, what they did was they gave me illustration work, and I was illustrating right before I went into college on a full scholarship at the School of Visual Arts for painting. I was working professionally as an illustrator, and so basically that's how that's how I got my start in the business.
Wow!
From an actor.
So part of the start was as an illustrator with the TV. Oh, look! There's the George Burns cigar. Look at that.
Is that it?
I told you he's got everything.
That is funny. That is funny.
Look at this.
Very nice. And so tell us about those, Matty or Sanch. Whoever wants to tell us about those, feel free.
So in about 2004, Don Diego decided to make George Burns cigars, right? So they couldn't find the distribution first. And we took on because the company who made it is made in the Dominican Republic. Unfortunately, the company that made it, Original Blends, this one, they don't exist. But this cigar didn't do too well in the market because George Burns actually smoked like El Producto, like inexpensive line, machine-made stuff. So a lot of people thought that these were machine-made, and these are handmade cigars. And the tobacco is, I'm going to send you guys some cigars with Matty. He'll distribute it to you guys. But this cigar was so close to a Cuban cigar. And back in the day, this cigar was very expensive. It was like $14 a cigar. And somehow it didn't make it. So they had about 10, 12,000 boxes made. And when they called me, they said, we can't do nothing in the market. We took it all because I knew what the cigars were. So these cigars are actually 20 years old.
Wow.
Nice stuff. Nice stuff. We have plenty of boxes.
Well,
now you believe me. He's got. Now you know that he does have Hoffa in the basement too. I'm telling you. We had that story one time. So one of my friends, the reason that I don't drink anymore, it's one of my my good friends that passed away. We were talking about here at Sanj's that I remember we were sitting leaning on my car smoking a cigar 20-something years ago, and it was a cigar you can't find anymore. So Sanj is listening to the story. What was this, about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe longer? He comes up with the friggin' box of it. I thought I was gonna cry because I lit it up, and you just go back to that very particular place in time. Anything that's sensory, right, really brings things back. Whether it's something you hear or you sense or you taste. So it was amazing. Lit up, close your eyes, and lo and behold, back in 1992, bunch of knucklehead jerk-offs smoking these cigars, and you're like, wow. So trust me when I tell you, it's in that basement.
It's in the
I was with Armand Asante this past Monday, I believe.
He's Asante, right?
Yeah. This past week, I went up to his house. Got a beautiful ranch upstate New York, and I told him that a friend of mine found some Evil cigars. He goes, "You're kidding me." He only has one left of his own cigars, and I told him that I would give him one. That once we get it, actually.
Yep. They're shipping, so we get it, and then Sanj might have it too, so we might have more than 6.
Oh man,
he's got it. It's down there somewhere. It's next to the alligator pit.
That's great, man. That's great.
So you were mentioning Matty. It was in Jess, of course, mentioning Hoffa. Any of you, Matty or Federico, did you all watch The Irishman on Netflix? What did you think of that? Did anybody watch that? The story of Hoffa?
Yeah, I watched it. I actually was at one of the premieres that they had in New York City.
Nice.
It was very long. Number one, I read the book years ago called "I Heard You Paint Houses," and which sort of is the meaning of that means the hitman paints houses. Like he shoots somebody and the blood goes on the walls. Basically, and so that there's a lot of doubt that the Irishman did it. They were saying that it was somebody else that did the hit. And I think Tony Provenzano's crew, if
right,
not himself, did the hit, and it wasn't the Irishman. But it's a good movie. I mean, it's long. What did you guys think of it?
I only watched bits and parts of it, and it was it's funny because one of the guests that we had on about 3 weeks ago, we had Gene on, and Gene actually did all the shirts and clothes and everything for it. So it was kind of that funny connection there. Gene was talking about it a couple of episodes back, and it was good, but like you said, very, very long. So it was kind of hard to sit through. And with my ADD, I don't sit still for too long, so I only got snippets of it here and there. But when you have all the acting greats together and you're telling stories, especially in the tri-state area, everybody talks about where's Hoffa. The joke, especially where we live, is a little more of a joke to that. Federico knows is like, hey, you want to know where he is? When they knock down Giant Stadium, you'll find him. He's under the concrete. And that was a joke from this area of where if you brought your shovel, you could find them.
Any real mafia stories?
Eric
Go ahead.
Sean from.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Eric Shawn from Fox News has been following this story for a long time, and they went out to the Meadowlands. I think it's right underneath the 1 and 9 bridge, you know, the Pulaski Bridge, and apparently there was a guy that owned a sort of a junkyard type of place, and they said that they killed Hoffa in Detroit, and they put him in a barrel head first because he didn't fit the other way. He was a heavy, you know, a little heavier set, short guy, but since they had to turn him head first into the barrel, and they said they drove the barrels to New Jersey, and they had this guy dig a 12-foot hole not right on his property, but just off of his property, because he was afraid that, you know, the feds were going to come and discover it on his property. Dug a 12-foot hole. They put the barrel at the bottom, and then they put other barrels on top of that, like 12 barrels. And wow. There's actually, I haven't seen it yet, but you know, I just read about it yesterday. They actually did this sort of sonar that goes underground, and they found in that area where the son of the guy that actually dug the hole, that owned that junkyard, the guy's son on his deathbed said to his son, he goes, "Listen, you know, I've been living with this my entire life, and you know, it's been haunting me." He goes, this is what really happened, and he's buried there. So his son, who recently passed away, you know, gave the story because he knew he was sick and he was going to be passing away. He gave the story to the reporter, you know, Eric Shawn, and so they have done some of this technical work and found that there's been an anomaly in that very area, and they found some things that look like barrels, you know, that right in that area, about 12 feet down. So wow. Things are starting to correlate with what the son of this gentleman said. And the reason why he couldn't say anything because he was afraid for his life all these years. But now that all of those guys are gone, you know, that's why the son, who was very old as well. So yeah.
There could be some truth to this theory. It's sounding like.
Yeah, there's gonna. I believe.
We told you we'd have to kill you.
I believe there's going to be like a 4-part series or something like 3 or 4-part series with this reporter Eric Shawn on Fox Nation, I believe it is. It came on my phone yesterday. I read the whole thing, and so I'm curious. I might want to check this out myself. You know.
That's really interesting. With regard to other stories of real life mobsters, mafia, are there any stories that you think are yet to be told that you would love to see told in film someday? And if so, how would you like to be a part of those?
There's no such thing as a mafia.
It's Fugazi.
I grew up in a neighborhood with a lot of that influence. You know, it was heavily influenced. I can tell you a short, like a little story about what I used to live on 21st Avenue in Patterson. Right, there were about, I would say that the street was lined with many social clubs, and you always wondered as a kid, like, how do these places stay in business with just serving cappuccino and espresso? But it was the members only room in the back that Baccarat. You know, they had connections to off-track betting and all that stuff. So I was, you know, when I was in school, I was studying at the School of Visual Arts. I would stay up really late, you know, finishing up projects and everything. So this place right across the street from me, this coffee shop, this cafe we called it, where they had a back room. You would always, you know, I would always go there like around, you know, midnight, something like that, you know, 11:30, midnight, get a coffee and then go back and work, you know. And so this one night, the street was oddly empty, you know, and you know, there were factories going. You could hear the factories going. There was a Janella's Bakery that was, you could smell the bread from 2 blocks away. You know, it was kind of an interesting kind of olfactory sensories going at the same time. And so I went, I had coffee. I stayed in a little bit longer that night because I was talking to the bartender there. And then I left. And as I was just right across the street, diagonally across the street, as I was putting the key in the door, there was this van that was parked about a block and a half away, that all of a sudden the lights came on and it just like, they gunned it right in front of this this place. And all these feds got out and they started busting down the window, like breaking the window. All of a sudden I see all these guys come out in handcuffs. So it, you know, that was my neighborhood, man. You know, that's the neighborhood I grew up in.
That's a good story. And these are all great stories. We appreciate everybody joining us. All the questions that are being asked. Another question, in addition to the art you're doing, you mentioned the app, which I want to put up here one more time for people to check out. This virtual con app, which will be coming soon. Definitely check that website out. What other projects have you been working on?
I've been working on quite a few, actually. I've been very busy during all this COVID crap. As I mentioned to you, I shot a film in Reading, Pennsylvania, called The Mick and the Trick, and that was with the actor Peter Green from Pulp Fiction and The Mask and other great films. Peter's been a friend of mine for like 25 years. Great fucking actor, man. And so you know, we worked on this film together, and then I met with the producer of that film, writer-producer, and you know, we started talking. I wound up bringing some financing to this film as well, and he asked me. He says, "Hey man, I wrote this script based on the television show Three's Company." And I said, "Really? Why'd you do that?" And he said, he goes, I was at a film festival in Hoboken, and he said he met the actress that played Janet. I forget her name. Anyway, so he says that he got inspired and he wrote a play based on her life expanding in like after Three's Company, you know. And so he said, "You mind if I send you this script? I've got like 70 pages down." So his name is Robert Morgallo, a really interesting guy, you know, United States veteran. And so I said, "Yeah, let me read it." I read it and I was laughing my ass off. It was a really funny script. And he goes, "Listen, you know, this was a play. I need to adapt it to a screenplay." He goes, "Are you interested in writing this with me?" I said, "Absolutely, I'd love to." So I started writing some scenes, and I'm sending him the scenes. He's just cracking the fuck up. And so he goes, "Hey, listen, man." He goes, "I love where you're going with this." He goes, would you direct this?" I said, "Yeah, of course." So it's called Three's Company 2, like TOO, also, Three's Company also. Because what happens is she, you know, basically her, after she does that show, you know, she's married and everything. Her husband passes away, and he leaves her with all kinds of bills, and you know, like she has to sell the house in order to pay off what this guy left her. And so what happens is she finds an apartment in New York City, and she gets scammed into this apartment. And there's two other people get scammed, and she's in the same situation as her television show. And then that's where it takes off from there. So it's a really interesting concept. We've got some really interesting people. I've written in the part for Mike Tyson, actually. It's a real funny take on this story. As far as I'm also working on there's a film I'm also not rewriting, but sort of working with a writer to sort of revamp. It's called Once a Bagman, and it's written by an old friend of mine, Kenny Simmons, and the company is called Wallner Media Group. It's Jeff Wallner. He just financed a film that new film. It's a comedy by George Gallo with Robert De Niro. I forget what it's called. Man, it's where they're producers and they're trying to kill the lead actor. I don't know if you saw the trailer for it, but it's hilarious. Anyway, so this person is going to be producing a film called Once a Bagman, and I'm working with a guy by the name of Del Harvey, who's an established writer, and we're basically revamping the film. The film is great. It's got a great story. It's terribly overwritten, but we're trimming it down, and it's about a $15 million film. So,
did you say Del Harvey? Was it Del Harvey you
Del
said?
Harvey.
The guy who did Hill Street
Del,
Blues, right? Not personal friend of mine, small world.
Yeah. So you know Del.
I do very well. Yep. I got to.
Cool.
We need to have Del on one night.
You should, because he's been writing screenplays for many years. He teaches a film class and everything. Great guy, and we're working on this project together.
Oh, that's very. I gotta shoot him a text after this. That'll be fun. A good dude, and like I said, think about Hill Street Blues. That's the dude who wrote Hill Street Blues. Yep.
No, he'll be very
small
happy
world.
I'll tell you. I told him we were going to be on tonight, and he said good luck and stuff. But I'm really looking forward to working with him on this.
Oh, I gotta ask Del if I could play a tree or something. That'll be great. Del knows I have the skills to play a tree. I can do this.
You could do that.
I could play a damn good tree. I'm telling you. Look at my branches.
That's great. Now, these are some great new projects. And those, any idea on the when we'll look forward to seeing the projects, the films you just mentioned, Federico?
Yeah, the Mick and the Trick is in post-production right now. Editing, music, and sound design, everything's being done right now. So it should be, I would say, in the fall it should come out. As far as Three's Company 2, that is still in the writing stages. And this other film, I think that probably once we finish the writing, it'll start steamrolling into the pre-production stages.
Excellent. Three's Company 2 and the Mick and the Trick. Be watching for these, and we'll certainly be bringing you more information on Bourbon Blog and through Cigar Saturday about those. Question from Kev, LA Beast. Is Federico excited for the new Sopranos movie?
LA Beast, my God, that guy is unbelievable. He was at Sopranos Con, and he won an eating contest. I think it was a hot dog eating contest. I mean, I don't know how many hot dogs he ate, but it was literally a crazy amount. And no one from, as far as I know, from the original cast is in the prequel of Sopranos, which is called The Many Saints of Newark. And it focuses on Dickie Moltisanti, who was Christopher Moltisanti's father. And as you guys may already know, Michael Gandolfini is playing Tony Soprano as a young teenager, in the film. So I heard good things about it. I heard that some people saw a screening of it and it was very good. So I'm hoping that they maybe spin it off into a series. You never know.
Yeah, we definitely look forward to that as well. As we of course enjoyed yourself and so many characters and wonderful actors in The Sopranos. Any unique story maybe that was off camera, memories of James that you might want to share with us?
Yeah, there was this one time when we were Sopranos. I mean, at the height of its popularity, I mean, we were doing appearances all over the place, all over the country. And there was one time we were at a casino. I think it was Foxwoods Casino, and we had a green room, which was just basically people waiting for us to come out. We were going to take pictures with them, and then the pictures were going to be developed, and then we would sign them and stuff like that. But the green room was this large area where they had a lot of food and everything there. And Tony Sirico's friend, who was his sidekick, you know, this guy would come everywhere Tony Sirico was, this guy was there. He was a big dude. Unfortunately, I heard he passed away, but he was drunk off his ass that night. And I mean, literally, he sat down at one point, and there was a large bowl of spaghetti that was in the middle of this table. And we were all sitting around. I remember Lorraine Bracco was kind of standing there with a cigarette, just smoking and looking at this guy, you know, like, and what he was doing was he was reaching into the middle of the table in this large bowl of spaghetti, dragging the spaghetti out of the bowl on the table. It was literally like a theater piece. It was literally like, holy shit, this is like, we were, anyway, so Jim comes in and he sees everybody looking at this guy. He goes, what's going on? I say, hey, Jim, I said, this guy all over the place. He goes, let's get him out of here. So we go. He grabs him from one arm, I grab him from the other. We're asking him what his room is. He tells us where his room is. So we go in the elevator, go to the room, and he says, he goes, yeah, that's there. He's barely standing. We're just like lifting too. And so I said, give me your key. You know, so you get the key. The key is not working. I said, you sure this is your room? Yeah, my room. So we're trying the key. All of a sudden, the door opens. He goes, hey, what the hell's going on? Tony Soprano. He goes, what are you guys doing? So this guy that was in his room, we were in the wrong floor. It was the same number, but the wrong floor. And the guy that was in the room, he was like Tony Soprano and Furio have this guy that's drunk. So we got in this room. And security came and helped us with that. But anyway, that's one of the funny that
Very nice. So many great people watching, so many fans of Federico, and we appreciate everyone who watches every week on Cigar Saturday. And I'll give each of you one more chance to real quick share this video on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're watching, for that free bag of coffee from Janus Coffee Roasters. What a real pleasure to have you, Federico. It's really great to have you. I know you have a lot of cool projects, and I want to put your website of your art up one more time. Again, Federico Castelluccio -paintings.com. That is the place to check out his art, and look forward to hopefully having a smoke and maybe a sip with you, and when we're back in New Jersey when things are better, Federico. And thank you, Matty and Sanj, as well.
Always, brother.
Good night.
It's good to see you guys. Thanks, everyone, for watching. And actually, I'm sipping a little of the. I know Federico said he's a fan of the Whistle Pig. Sipping a little of the Whistle Pig now. Cheers, Federico. Thank you so much to everyone watching. Matty, do we know who's coming around next week?
Yes, we do. We got Master Chef Andrew Gruel will be on next week. Not only is he a Master Chef with restaurants out on the West Coast in Orange County, but he's out there doing his best to make sure that people gravely affected by COVID can keep their restaurants open. So he'll talk about the donations that people have made to help restaurant workers and keep iconic restaurants open, because without those little community restaurants, your community is in a lot of trouble. That's what makes your community grounded. So it'll be cool to do that. And then the week after that, we have our friends over at the Lounge Experience. The lovely ladies, the Lounge Experience will be our guest the following week, and then we got a few other fun guests in the mix that we'll be announcing soon.
Excellent. And we should have Matty. I think Federico just left us, it's so great to have Federico. We so enjoyed having Federico. We'll have you or Sanj pick a number. We had tons of shares tonight. Between one.
We'll let Sanj pick. We'll put the pressure on Sanj. Up with the number.
1 and 51.
7.
All right, let's see who number 7 was. Somebody watching. Oh, looks like it's our buddy Kevin McCormick there. Kevin.
Well done, K-Mac. Salute, K.
K-Mac. It's great to have everybody watching us, and keep on watching, coming back to Bourbon Blog Live. You know, just to show you, every time I talk with you, Matty, and Sanj too, it always just feels like it's such a small world in New Jersey. And, you know, I love that, because when I'm in Kentucky, I feel that same way. Somebody says, you know, this person, and I actually did a virtual tasting this past week. Mainly people from New Jersey were a part of this. And I said, you guys got to watch us on Saturday night. We always do it live from Sanj's, and 2 of them out of like the 25 or 30 had been to Sanj's. So they knew Sanj's, and you know, what a cool thing. You know, what a small world. So,
well, if they don't know Sanj, you know,
they knew Sanj. So I was like, what a cool thing. So anyway, cheers to everybody who's watching. Check out more Bourbon Blog Lives, and also make sure you listen to our podcast, all the episodes up on Anchor FM. Cheers, everybody.
Much love, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, be safe. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Good night,
everybody. Cheers.